Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. I personally think that Eubank Jr. is going to win this fight. Probably on points, but I wouldn't rule out a late stoppage. There's a lot being made of the weight cut for Eubank Jr. And of course, weight can definitely impact a fighter's performance, especially at this age. Eubank Jr. is 35 now. So he can't weigh any more than 10 pounds over, roughly 10 pounds over the middleweight limit of 160 at somewhere like 9 or 10 a.m. on the morning of the fight. So he has to keep his hydration limited up until the morning of the fight. He might even have to get up early to weigh himself before the check weight to make sure he can make the check weight. And if he can't, then he's going to have to sweat out some weight. So it's an inconvenience. Sometimes doing a check weight on the morning of a fight can mess with your sleep because you may be worried about, will I make the weight, at this particular time? I have to get up an hour early to check my weight when I wake up because if they're going to knock on my door at 8, 9 a.m., let me get up at 7. Some people deal with stuff like that very easily. Other people, it will play on their mind and it will bother them and they won't sleep that well. So it remains to be seen. You wouldn't have thought it would bother Eubank Jr. being as experienced as he is, but you never know. A lot of pressure on his shoulders because he's the bigger, more experienced man. On paper, he should be winning this fight. He's supposed to win this fight. But yeah, I think that he probably will. I'm picking him to win. On points, possibly a late stoppage. Conor Benn is fast compared to the opponents that Eubank Jr. is used to fighting, at least. He's coming up from welterweight, but his last couple fights were at junior middleweight. So he's fast, he's explosive, he's aggressive, he throws a lot of shots. And I think one of the challenges early on for Eubank Jr. will be trying to catch Conor Benn because he rolls underneath shots. He's got fast, frenetic head movement when he's coming at you. So I think the early rounds will be a matter of Eubank Jr. finding ways to try and slow Conor Benn down, slow down his attack, slow down his assault, such that he can start catching him with shots. Because I do think Conor Benn's going to be quite difficult to catch in the early rounds. You might see Conor Benn win the early rounds because of that. Eubank Jr. might be the one who's more easy to hit. He's going to have to use his legs a lot, I think, to stay away from Conor Benn, tie him up on the inside, try and shut down his offense and frustrate him. Once he's frustrated him and got Conor Benn to expend energy and get all the anger out of his system, that's when maybe after 4 or 5 rounds, Eubank Jr. I think will start to take over, use his jab, body shots, maybe push Conor Benn back in spots. And down the stretch, if he's landing consistently enough, maybe even get a stoppage himself. If I had to put money on it, as far as the Eubank Jr. method of victory, I'd probably say points, but I wouldn't rule out a late stoppage because, Conor Benn's never been in there with anyone as big, strong, or actually as good as Eubank Jr. before. Not that Eubank Jr. is some elite fighter, but compare him to the people that Conor Benn's fought, I'm going to say Eubank Jr. is better. Okay, Chris Algieri was a world champion once upon a time. We're talking about a guy that moved up from 140, who was right at the end of his career. That guy is not as formidable in the ring. That version of Algieri, nowhere near as formidable in the ring as Eubank Jr. is right now. So, yeah, Eubank Jr., for my money, by far the best opponent that Conor Benn will have faced as a professional. As aggressive as he may be, and explosive and what have you, where was his power against his last 2 opponents who he fought at 154? Where was this vaunted power that Eddie Hearn says is going to lay waste to Chris Eubank Jr. inside the first? In fact, Eddie Hearn keeps adding rounds on. First, he said it's going to be inside 3 rounds. Then he said it's going to be inside 4 rounds. Then he said it's going to be inside 5 rounds. The last interview I saw of Eddie Hearn, he said Conor Benn's going to do Eubank Jr. inside 6. So he keeps adding rounds on. It kind of reminds me of when Billy Joe Saunders fought Chris Eubank Jr. Billy Joe Saunders swore on his kids' lives that Eubank Jr. wouldn't go the distance with him. You guys remember that? Or was it that he wouldn't go the distance? I think he swore on their lives that he wouldn't go the distance, or that he would retire if he didn't stop Eubank Jr., something like that. And of course, it did go the distance, and Billy Joe didn't retire after Eubank Jr. went the distance with him. So, look, boxing is full of surprises. We do see situations where a guy, based on his past form, doesn't seem like he's got the power to stop the guy he's about to get in the ring with, but it happens anyway. I'm well aware of that. I've been around long enough watching boxing for many decades. We can't count it out completely, okay? But in my mind, at least, the probability is that Conor Benn is not going to knock Eubank Jr. out, that the fight will go into the second half, and if there's a stoppage, I reckon it's going to be Eubank Jr. tiring out the smaller man, using his jab on him, hitting him with body shots. I'm talking about straight shots to the body as well as hooks and uppercuts, bullying him here and there, and maybe stopping him. But I tend to lean more towards a Eubank Jr. points win. So that's what I'm going for in this fight. If Conor Benn does win, and yes, it's a possibility, surely Eubank Jr. is finished. Whereas if Eubank Jr. wins, Conor Benn can still go back down to 147 pounds. He's only 28 years of age. Go back down to 147 pounds and have a career. Because he'll just turn around and say, well, I was fighting 2 weights above my natural weight division. So it doesn't really mean anything if I lost up at 160. How many welterweights do you see making that jump and taking on those guys? That's what he can say afterwards, right? So the stakes are higher for Eubank Jr. here. He's got more to lose than Conor Benn has. And I think that's why Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn have been so keen on this fight for so long. They've really pushed the issue more than Eubank Jr. has, you know, because they see more upside in this for themselves. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high-quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.